Assalamu alaikum viewers. Welcome to the next episode of North American Muslim Foundation Senior Talk Show funded by the New Horizons for Seniors program. Today on our show we have Yash Kapoor. Yash Kapoor has served for the United Nations Peacekeeping Department in various war zones of the world. He lived in many countries and interacted with persons with different cultural and ethnic diversity. So let us invite Yash Kapoor to our show today. Hello Yash ji, welcome to the program today.
Thank you Savya ji for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share some of my thoughts with you.
It's always an honor to be, with people like you who have been traveling to various countries, serving the world, and as a global citizen that I would address you as, would you like to share about your immigration to Canada?
It was the year 1990. I was in Kenya at that time on deputation from Government of India. At that time my children were in such a stage that they wanted to pursue higher studies. So that prompted me to migrate to Canada. So I came here in April of 1990.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So did you come directly from India or from Kenya, or did you visit the other countries before coming here?
I came directly from Kenya actually here because I applied for immigration in Kenya, although originally I'm from India.
Yeah.
And after coming here, I had a job with Ontario Hydro, but later on I joined the United Nations. And that was a peacekeeping operation that took me to various war zones in the world.
Wonderful. So we're going to talk about that. I'm sure you're going to have some interesting incidents to share with our viewers today. Before that, Yashji, would you like to share some feedback and some suggestions about the medical services, because we are looking for gaps in the medical services for seniors so that we can suggest some improvisations within the system?
The medical services are good here, but having said that, for seniors, the biggest problem is the wait when they have to see any specialist, Sometimes it's months together and it's very difficult for them. And the other thing which deters seniors is if somebody drives to them, then the parking at the hospitals and other places is very, very expensive. So this is one area where seniors are deterred to do that and go there. And during this COVID period, the health services were there, but the seniors had to talk to their doctors and they were not very comfortable in explaining everything to them. Language was another problem, because sometimes our medical problems, even if we know English, but we are not able to communicate to our medical professionals the way they want to listen to us, the medical terms, that is also a problem.
Yeah. Yes, that's a very valid point you raised, because seniors have a limited income and they try to survive within their own income, and the parking at the hospitals is extremely high. And especially even if you're going to visit your friend, if you're going for your own appointment, you still have to pay a lot for parking.
Yeah, that's right. I had suggested in various forums also that there could be some sort of a cap on the parking as such.
Yes.
But it's not so, and it is very prohibitive.
Yeah.
This is one area where I would like the authorities to look into that.
To look into that, yes, it's a very valid point. Thank you for suggesting that.
Thank you.
During the COVID time, we know that the entire globe was affected because of COVID. So how did you maintain your sanity at that time?
In a way, I was fortunate enough that I was involved with the community, various activities. So I kept involved with the community. Then we started calling our community members on phone, keeping in touch with them, and sometimes providing them with other help like rations and other things. So that kept me busy. And then of course on the spiritual side, the meditation and just praying to God, that maintained my sanity.
Yes,
so I just kept busy rather than cursing the COVID. I found other opportunities, how this is an opportunity to serve the mankind.
Yeah, that's exactly how it should be, instead of cursing the situation and saying, oh my God, nothing good is happening. No, with every storm, comes some beauty after that. So the COVID was also like a storm, and then we had to find the inner beauty and the peace within us.
Yeah, very rightly said, that's there. So we can find opportunity in every crisis, and as they say, crisis and opportunity are both sides of the coin.
Yes.
Same coin.
Yeah. Social isolation. We all know that social isolation affects a person at one time or the other during their lifespan. Be it in Canada, be it in any other country, when you're going to visit your own home country and you don't find your parents there, you're alone in the house there. So did you at any time, since you have been witnessing or living in areas that were affected by war zones, is there anything you would like to highlight about social isolation and how and what people can do to avoid those conditions?
Yes, Sajida, you are very right. The social isolation is a big problem. During COVID, we faced the social isolation. When I was with the United Nations peacekeeping for over 13 years, I felt social isolation. But then when I saw other people, their problems was much more than my own problem. So I started interacting with the local people, understanding their problem and trying to do something for them. I'll just give just two examples which we cannot appreciate. When I was in Bosnia, Sarajevo, it was dead of the winter there. And I have seen people burning their shoes and other things to keep warm. They didn't have central heating or so. And another incident which moved me, I had a secretary there, and the UN were paying just almost about $100 a month. And I asked her, I said, when you get your first salary, what are you going to do? She says, I'm going to buy shoes for my mother because my mother doesn't have shoe in this winter. I almost cried. And then I took her at that time to our duty-free shop. I said, okay, select the shoes for your mother. This is my gift to your mother. Just like my mother is back home, she's your mother. So sometimes we don't realize, we always sort of magnify and exaggerate our problems.
Yes.
We don't see how people are surviving.
No, it's a beautiful example. And gesture, humanity, gesture, that's a language that is spoken worldwide. That's a language that's spoken, and kindness from the heart. And especially these people who have witnessed these wars, when they move to Canada, they do have some sort of, issues, social issues or psychological issues that need to be addressed, and that sometimes takes them into isolation. So as a community member, what would you suggest to people to avoid social isolation?
What I can say from my experience is social isolation means we should be proactive in talking to the people who are less fortunate than us and trying to keep in touch with them. During this COVID period, I know I have been calling at least minimum about half a dozen people every day, elderly people and such, and they feel so happy that somebody has called them.
Yeah.
So same thing, if you call somebody and that person calls somebody, we can reduce the social isolation. We cannot totally eliminate that, but social isolation can be reduced by this thing. Keeping in touch with your community, keeping in touch with even with your religion, religious places also. That also helps. This mosque, temple and gurdwaras, people if they keep in touch with them, that helps a lot.
Yeah. And especially as seniors, people tend to go towards gurdwaras and masjids and churches because, they are seeking spiritual help there and spiritual guidance and then support, because all through their life they were quite busy. So this is the time that they can connect with their Lord. So that helps a lot, that heals a lot.
Very right. These are the places where, we go or we communicate with them and we can maintain our spiritual sanity and balance.
That's the reason, just like NAMF, the North American Muslim Foundation, that's the reason we are providing programs here on a regular basis to make sure that they show a lot of support to the community.
No, you are doing a wonderful job, and I salute all the volunteers and organizers for doing this job for your own community.
Thank you.
I also understand the way you helped everybody to get the vaccination also.
Yes.
That was really creditable.
Yeah. No, we look forward to, partnering with you, with the Gurudwara, to do a interfaith event with the Masajid, and that would be amazing for your people and our people to connect with each other and, know each other. We look forward to doing that in the future.
That's a wonderful idea. One thing more I like to add is that sometimes we see other people and we only see differences. We don't see that how much similarity is there. Again, I narrate an incident. I was in Afghanistan, Kabul. It was immediately after 9/11 I went, and after a few days there was an Eid, and a local person invited me. He said, it is Eid, you have to come to our place. They were very poor, they had nothing as such. So I told him, I was very reluctant. I said, I'm a vegetarian and all these things, so I cannot come. I thought that all dishes will be meat. And he forced me, he took me to his house, and I was surprised. He had made almost 20 dishes. They were all vegetarians, sweet things and other things. And I was so touched about that these people who have lost everything, they have nothing.
Yes.
But for them, their mehman or their guest is just like a god.
Yes.
So this is one thing I learned. And then when I talked to the people there, in the Western media, everybody is termed as a fundamentalist or a Talibanis and all these things, but it's not true.
Yes.
Especially in Afghanistan, I have seen the people have the same values, they have same ambitions and all these things.
Yeah, they have the same love and affection that comes from the heart, and it's the media sometimes, you know, they give a bad color to the picture.
And when you read somebody properly and you see how they feel about you, that's very touching experience. There was a small girl in our Afghanistan, in our office. She was doing the cleaning jobs, and when she realized that I am leaving that place, she couldn't communicate in English. She just came to me and put something in my hand. I saw it was a small handkerchief embroidered by her, and perhaps that was the only thing she had. I'm still keeping that with me, and I was so much touched about that she thought that I'm leaving this place, so I have to give something to him.
Yes.
So this is an experience which I can never forget.
It's beautiful, beautiful.
It's so much of language of love. It's not what language we speak, but language of love, compassion, emotion is the same everywhere.
It's the same everywhere.
This is what I've noticed, because UN also took me to more than a dozen countries, and whereas the Western media, always people used to talk to me, how did you survive there? There are people are very cruel, people are this and that. I said, no, they are more loving than what you are there.
What you are. Thank you for sharing these beautiful incidents so that our viewers and the other people who are watching the YouTube can understand the language of love. Thank you, Yashji.
It's very true. Human emotions are same. Language of love is same. Compassion is same. A few bad apples, they don't define a community as such.
Agree.
So same thing I tell everybody here, don't see people with their religion, their dress, their other thing, their outer appearance, but try to see something in their hearts, and you will find it's exactly the same.
Inner beauty of a human being.
Is there. It's exactly the same.
Yashji, especially that you had served in the United Nations and you had been working out of Canada. And once you landed in Canada, and then when you have your old age pension and the income that you receive, do you think that is good enough for you, for your financial planning for the rest of your life?
Yes and no. The thing is, what we have been taught right from our childhood is always save something for the rainy day. We don't spend, we economize on each and everything, and make sure that at old age we have something, rather than depending always on the government and other things as such. So that helped me. Other thing was some of the expenses which I knew I couldn't afford, like going to the restaurants, going to the movies, theaters and all these things. I avoided that, and we saved that. I won't say that I have a very, very handsome pension, but then God is kind. We are surviving. When we see those people who don't even have a shelter, don't even have a roof on their head, we find we are very, very fortunate.
Very fortunate, But would you like to suggest anything for the people who are barely fulfilling their financial obligations? Are there any suggestions for them that they should be receiving a little bit extra income or receiving something as a support, financial support from the government apart from the pensions?
Yes. The policies, I feel, the policies which are decided by the government are decided by those people who haven't experienced these things. They haven't faced anything. They just sit in a room and decide some policies for the seniors. Seniors want this thing. But there's hardly any dialogue or interaction with the seniors, what they want really. So seniors do need help. As earlier example I said, they do need help in the parking charges. They do need help in subsidizing some of the medicines which they have to buy. Not everything is available to the seniors as such. The biggest problem which seniors face is the transportation. The grid system here is very, very confusing to the seniors. If they have to go from place A to B,
Yeah.
maybe they have to spend 2 hours or 3 hours. There is no transportation. Wheel trans is okay, but wheel trans is not user friendly as such. You
Yes.
have to prove something that you have lost something, or you don't have you have this thing or that thing, just to have a wheel trans.
Yeah.
Why can't we have a wheel trans available to everybody 75 plus or so? They need it.
Perfect.
Then we will discourage them to drive their own cars. There will be less accidents, less problems, and all these things. So this is one area where I'll say if the government is considering the wheel trans availability to everybody after a certain age.
Yeah, or also add small coaches, maybe these small shuttles that can be
Yeah.
transported constantly for the seniors so that they can reduce the traffic as well, reduce their resources as well, save on their resources, other resources. That these are very,
Very right. And
interesting and
another thing which
valid
I always
suggestions.
yeah, very right. Another thing which I always suggest, these the mosques, temples, gurdwaras, if they can be given some sort of a funding for having a shuttle service or paying for the driver for their own community, that will be a very big asset to them. The seniors can be brought from their home, they can be brought to the religious places. It will be a sort of a daycare also for the seniors. But the biggest problem which I faced in the community is they don't have funds to pay for the driver, they don't have funds to buy a van.
Yes.
So this is one area where government, rather than giving to individuals, if they can give to these community center or religious places some funding for having a minibus and paying for the driver.
Yeah, no, these are valid suggestions that you have given. Thank you so much for all your suggestions, ESG. It was a pleasure having you on our show, and we look forward to working with you on various issues that we can help the seniors in the coming future, because more and more seniors will be joining our programs, and we'll definitely invite you once again. So thank you for joining our show.
Thank you very much. I really feel honored that you invited me, and I want to salute you for the nice work you are doing.
Thank you.
I've been associated with you for the last 10 years, and I compliment you for what you are doing for your community at large. Thank you. Keep up the good work doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So once again, viewers, thank you for watching this show, and I'm sure you have enjoyed our interview for today with Yash Kapoor. So once again, this is the North American Muslim Foundation Senior Talk Show. So stay tuned for our next episode with our next guest, your host, Sajida Khan.